It's been 15 years since we've gotten a new 4Runner, and Toyota redesigned this from the bottom up. So you've got a new platform that it shares with the Tacoma, the Land Cruiser, and the Sequoia. Now Toyota maintained the rugged look of the 4Runner, but also modernized it just like they've done with their other redesigned SUVs. So let's take a look at what's new and what may be the same. I don't know about you guys, but I think they did a great job with this because it still looks like a 4Runner. You know, this whole back half over here definitely is 4Runner. You can tell it's a 4Runner. And then you come around to the front, because this is my favorite part. It just looks mean and tough. And I love the fog lights down below. I think that looks great. You got LED lighting all the way around, and it does have these kind of square lighting down in here. It looks pretty cool. You've got air vents on the wheel wells. This thing just looks great. This is the limited trim, and it is heritage blue for the color. You get these 20-inch gray and machine-faced wheels. And then we come around here to the back, and just in case you were wondering, yes, this still rolls down. Now you guys got to decide whether you like the exterior styling or not, but the other big thing is the powertrain that's in here. This new engine that is available in this. So this limited trim comes with the standard engine, which is the iForce 2.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder that has 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. You're looking at a 0 to 60 in around 6.8 to 7.2 seconds, depending on your trim. It comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission and standard rear-wheel drive. A full-time 4-wheel drive system is available, along with an adaptive variable suspension. Now, if you need a little bit more power, you can go up to the iForce Max hybrid system with 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Now, off-road capabilities have not been compromised, according to Toyota, and you have the option of adding the sway bar disconnect, locking rear differential, and an off-road cruise. Towing comes in at 6,000 pounds, and fuel efficiency is 20 in the city, 24 in the highway, and 21 mile per gallon average. All right, now let's take a look at the cargo space, because this one has the third row and it's a little tight back here. Here's another look at the back. One thing I forgot to mention is that it does have the roof racks on here, and you can see that they are silver in color, so you get a little bit of contrast there with the black cross rails also, and those are added optional. And let's take a look at the back. You got a power lift gate here, and it does have the easy open with the foot swipe across the bottom. This has a cargo net in it, but you have, like I said, here is your 3 rows, and you don't have a whole lot of space back here. Now, if we take the cargo net down so we can see it a little bit better, there's your space behind the third row, but the seats are very easy to drop. You're just going to pull this handle to drop the headrests. There we go. And you just got a handle right here. We're just going to push that down, push that down. And there you have 48 cubic feet of space. Behind the third row, there was 12 cubic feet of space. So you can see you do have a speaker back here. You do have 120 volt plug right there, which is good. And you can also see that there are cup holders back here. I don't see any USB plugs, so I don't see any power outlets back here. Also, don't see any vents back here for the third row. So that's probably not going to be very comfortable. But we can drop this second row, and now you have 90 cubic feet of space back here. So you definitely could sleep back here if you needed to, if you were out on the trails and just decided to pull over and take a nap. Wouldn't be any problem. But you can see that it is not a flat load floor. If you enjoy seeing and learning about new vehicles, go ahead and hit the subscribe, because I put up content every week. All right, let's take a look at the inside now. This does have the optional power running boards. This does have a chocolate colored interior. So you've got chocolate and black in here. This does have some gloss black going across here. I like this little holder right here. You can pop your cell phone right down in there. A couple bottle holders down below. All of your window and mirror controls. And you do have memory seating right here. Come over here and you do have power seats with lumbar. The seats have been pretty comfortable, so we've been riding in for the week. And I'm not real sure how I feel about this like a milk chocolate color. I like them a little bit darker than that, but it still looks pretty good. Let's hop in and get a closer look at everything. I like the shape of the vents here. Up here you've got Joe Rady's Twinkie tray. You do have a glove box, which is pretty good size and has a lot of stuff in it. This material up here is hard. That's okay. It's not really going to hurt anything. It's easy to clean up. You can see you do have a JBL audio system in here. I believe it's 14 speakers. You come across here at the dash and you see this JBL speaker, and look at here. It is a Bluetooth speaker that you can take out and take with you. Come on across and come down to this side. You do have automatic brights, traction control button. You got a lift gate open up, and then you turn your AC on for that back. Here's your full digital driver's display. You have the RPMs on the left, you have the speedometer on the right. Down below you've got your temperature gauge and your odometer. And then on the right side you have your gas tank and your distance to empty. In the center, you have a menu that's going to, right now, is on your driver assist. Up here, you have your lane keep assist, and this is your sensor bubble for your parking sensors. And then you have a digital speedometer and the gear that you're in. You got time up at the top and temperature also. In the center, you can change that. You're going to push down and hold the OK button. That is going to bring up that little parenthesis thing on the outside, and then you can switch through these. So you've got blank, message, settings, driving support is where we are at. If you go to settings, you hold OK down. That brings up all your driver assistance. So you've got your lane departure assist, your blind spot monitoring, parking assist, all of those are right there that you can go through and change. Vehicle settings, you can also go into that. Brake suggestion, your dynamic cruise control, trailer settings. Inside your trailer settings, you can add trailers or remove trailers. So that's most of the features of that one. Press the back button to get all the way out. Now with those parentheses, you can go left over here, and then you can also change these over here. So right now it's on the turbo. You got engine, transmission, oil temperatures, auxiliary gauges, so it's got your battery and your oil level, trailer brake, traction monitor, your audio, navigation, your eco indicator, and back to your turbo gauge. Then you can also go all the way to the right, and you've got fuel economy, blank, engine, transmission, oil temperature, trailer mode, pitch and roll, tire pressure, trip B, trip A, and then driver info, your distance and trip time, your audio, navigation, and then back to driver support and your fuel economy. So here's the Toyota steering wheel. On this side, you have all your driver assistance features. So you've got cruise control, you've got lane centering, your adaptive cruise, and then this is your cruise settings, and then you change your radio with that. And then you go over on this side, and this has your volume, your voice recognition. This is what controls your menu on your driver display, and the back button and your phone button. Let's take a look at this 14-inch infotainment screen. It's pretty nice. It works pretty well. You got wireless, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. So this is your navigation screen. You've got your audio, the phone, and then you've got your trip information, your current, what you've got going on right now, which you can clear that anytime, and then you have your history. So previous best was 17 miles per gallon, and right now we're getting 18 miles per gallon, which basically is because we're doing a lot of idling right now. And then we can go back out here, go down to settings. This is where you've got all of your information, your Bluetooth. That's where you're going to set up your phone. Notifications, Wi-Fi. You can set up a hotspot in here if you want to. Sound and media. You can adjust whatever you would like to for this JBL system. And you also do have Sirius XM available. Navigation. Voice and search. Vehicle customization, so you can adjust your lighting, your ambient lighting, your door controls, boarding and exit, custom drive modes, your climate, and then you also have utility. And I'm going to go into depth in all of that in that tech video coming out next week, so make sure you guys subscribe if you want to see that. Go back out. You got dealer info, info and security, your software updates, and your maps. Down below, you have your climate controls, and you do have a big volume button right here, which is nice to see because sometimes they make them small and then you get them confused with your climate controls. So this one has a button to turn off the vents for the rear if you want to. You've got a heated steering wheel button right here. Heated seats and ventilated seats. All of the rest of your buttons are right here, and you got everything just kind of popping up on the screen there. Over here, there is your hazard button right there. Back here, you've got a wireless phone charger, and you do have two USB-C plugs, and they do have super fast charging. You've got up to 52.5 watts in here. Nice little just tray right here. You can set a phone down. You also have a 12-volt plug right there. Back here, you've got your electronic parking brake. You've got auto hold. You've got your gear shifter, which is just a standard normal gear shifter. It's nice and easy to use. So then you have your mode selector. So we've got Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sport S, Sport S Plus, and then your custom modes. All right, you do also have a tow haul button right here, and there is your four-wheel drive selector right there. It's nice because you actually have to push the button on this side to be able to turn that and switch it, so you can't accidentally bump it into something else. Back here, you've got your trailer tow button. You've got your camera view, so you do have a 360 view right there. And that is different angles. All right, we'll put it into reverse. There is your backup camera with a bird's eye view from above. And you do have, well, that camera angle right there. You can zoom in and zoom out. Then you also have the front, the rear. So this is your cameras looking forwards on your mirrors, and then here is your cameras looking backwards on your mirrors. And then you have a few different things you can select for your backup camera, and then you have auto camera, which is interesting. So you can kind of move those cameras, see everything on each side. Wow, that's pretty impressive. I like that. Come on back, and you do have two cup holders right there, and then you have this center console, decent size. It's actually nice and cushy for your elbow or your arm. And then you open it up, and you do have a decent amount of space in there. It's about wrist depth, so it's not really deep, but it is a good size to store your stuff. So it also does come with the power sunroof, which is really nice, and you just got a little shade that you can pull to cover that up. And the last thing that we're going to talk about from up front here is this little button right here. And what does this little button do? Well, you still get to roll down the back window. That is a pretty good trademark of the 4Runner. That's everything up here. Now it's time to go to that second row, see how much space there is back there. I'm 6 foot tall. And then after that, we're going to hop into that third row and see how tight it is back there. All right, let's take a look at the space here in the back. Door opens good and wide. That's nice to see. Do have a handle here if you need it, and these footsteps that are only about 4 inches up off the ground. And then watch your head getting in, because you might hit that. Now back here, I don't know. You're barely touching the seat here, and this is in my driving position. I probably could slide up a little bit more if I needed to, if somebody was a little bit taller, but it's really kind of tight. Above my head, I do have about 1.5 inches or so, so that's not too bad. But this, I think, is a little tight, and someone even taller than me is going to have a little bit more problem. So if this second row is this tight, what do we think that third row is going to be? Well, let's take a look at what's back here for your passengers before we hop in that third row. So here in the back, you do have the brown leather carried on back here, and then this is all nice and soft on your armrest and everywhere, and it's still got this black trim going across here. Small little spot. You might be able to just put your cell phone in there, but maybe not. You do have a cup holder right here, and then you have the JBL speaker here and one down below. We get up inside of here, and you do have 2 vents right here and 2 USB plugs along with a 120 volt plug-in. Here you do have a center armrest, I guess, with a couple cup holders. So that is about the typical normal stuff back here, so nothing fancy. All right, now it's time to hop in that third row. All right, to get into the third row, we're gonna pull this handle right here. That's gonna flip that seat down and flip it up. That's how we're gonna get in there. Looks like a decent space, and it's not too bad getting up in here. Well, you can see my head is smashed up against the top back here, so that's not gonna work out real well. And you can also see my knees are out farther than the seat. If I pull that seat back, it's just gonna smash my knees. Really nowhere for me to go in this part. So yeah, this is not good for adults. Only put your kids back here, or probably maybe adults under maybe 5'8" might fit okay back here, but yeah, this is pushing it for a full-size adult. But you do have cup holders back here. Now, the only problem is I don't see any power cords back here. I also don't see any vents back here, so it might get a little toasty back here. If you were thinking of getting the third row because you needed to put adults back here, or maybe teenagers, you might be even pushing it at that. So unless you have some small kids that would need to sit back here, I just wouldn't worry about this third row. All right, now let's take a look at the pricing of this new 4Runner. Just so you know that there are 12 trims available. There are 6 with the iForce gas only engine, and there's 6 with the iForce Max hybrid engine. This is the gas only version, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So the base SR5 is going to start at $40,770. Above that is the TRD Sport, but your price jumps up to $47,250. Next, you have the TRD Off-Road, the TRD Sport Premium, and the TRD Off-Road Premium, with about a $2,000 increase per trim as you go up the line. This is the limited, and it starts at $55,400. Now, as tested with all the options that this one has, the power running boards, the third row, the roof rail crossbars, and the tow tech package, comes in at $60,875. Now, just in case you were interested in the hybrid iForce Max, those start at $52,000 and go up to $67,000.